right, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody out there. This is ReadySetCrypto. You got Doc and Mav here. Today is Wednesday, the 22nd of September. All day long, we got through with Fed Day here. We're going to talk about markets for the next half hour with you guys. Let us know where you're coming in from. And if you have a chance, please hit that thumbs up button. It beats the algorithm for us. And if you get a chance, subscribe to our channel so you know when we're coming on, although most of you have already. Welcome aboard, everybody. Let us know where you're coming in. All right, so let's see. We got Nighthawk coming in from Sydney. Outstanding. Video link, got a bag of Joe. Amsterdam. Hey. All right, Finland. The land of the magically fast Formula One drivers. Hello from Arkansas. Good afternoon, Djalma. All right. We got another Amsterdam. We got Portugal coming in. We got Oregon, New York, Portugal again. Got more than one Portugal out here. New York City in the house. We got the French Quarter, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Sydney. Welcome aboard, guys. We got a great crew out there today. People from all over the place. All right. Can we hear you, Mav? Let's make sure we can hear you.
Hopefully.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Sounded good.
Cool.
All right, guys. So the way we're going to do this, Mav has got a couple of thoughts he's got about the overall market. I'll take a look at the charts, tell you what I see in the charts, tell you where the opportunities are. And if you have any pairs that you want me to take a look at, I'd be happy to do that. Just shoot me the pair that you want me to take a look at. And we'll wrap up by the half after the hour here today in the next 30 minutes or so. And then we'll get you on your way. So welcome aboard, everybody. Hit the thumbs up button and we'll get started here.
Alrighty. Yeah. Why are we dumping? It sounds like a personal problem. No. Hey, welcome aboard. Thanks for hanging out with us, especially during, it is a little bit of a tumultuous time. It's unfortunately not the golden cross market that we were having last week, but that's okay. I think we're doing the right things for the right reasons right now. And let's transition to talking about some of the hottest news right now and what's going on. Let's kind of explain away maybe some of the FUD that you might have, and hopefully address some things that you might have questions about. So one of the big things right now is you might have seen this recent dip attributed to this whole Evergrande, sounds like a Taco Bell kind of item. But what's this about? What's going on here? And we just got this news in about 3 hours ago in terms of the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, basically stepping in, paying Big Brother and taking over Evergrande. What does that mean? And what does it mean for crypto in particular? So I think one of the things people make the mistake of when looking for, these like crazy crashes that we see is to like attribute it to some sort of like trigger event in the past. And the thing is, like, crashes occur for the same reason every time, that being default cascades, but the trigger is never the same twice. So the next trigger will be something unexpected that the market fails to anticipate. And that's the key thing here, is that every time we see a crash, a real crash, it's triggered by unexpected events that surprise the market, not a repeat of some sort of previous trigger. And in this case, I think it was, this has been something that a lot of people, the whole world market has kind of known about for a while. China in particular had ample time to analyze the situation and prepare for Evergrande basically going belly up. I was seeing some comparisons to Evergrande being, like the Chinese Lehman Brothers, and I don't think that's quite accurate. I think this is more, Fannie, Freddie kind of like, it is something that, yes, it's bad, but the thing is, China has 3 trillion in global liquidity, which they can use to easily contain the Evergrande situation. And that's what they're going to do. That's what we just learned a couple hours ago. So while Evergrande is going to implode, it's going to be a controlled detonation. Like it's just they're going to control the detonation. The Chinese government has had months to examine the contagion risk, and they're well aware of the holes that need to be plugged. So here we are. Like this is what happens every time that we see something like this. It's Wall Street just loves to operate off of these FUD stories because we have to remember that one of Wall Street's best ways of making money is selling options. They're making stacks off of all the put options retail bought over the last 2 days. And that's kind of where we're finding ourselves right now. The bears are getting absolutely destroyed. And that's, rinse and repeat. We see this all the time. So that is kind of the case of what's going on today in terms of between that and the Fed announcement, regarding kind of more dovish. And Doc, if you want to jump in and talk a little bit about what's going on with the Fed, between those events, I think what has been very apparent is that we're set up really nicely for the two historically best months of the year for crypto and Bitcoin in particular. We can look back at October and November of going back 6 or 7 years. It's usually the case that we see double-digit returns, the upside. It's definitely something that we don't want to say is a definite, but at the same time, I think what has just transpired and where we're going to see things going into October, just how that's kind of evolving, it's setting the stage in a really positive, really advantageous way for crypto to basically make up some of these this lackluster environment we've found ourselves in for the month of September. It's going to be hopefully a very exciting end of the year, and it's where we see breakout contenders, Cardano, Ethereum, start to entertain new price targets, new all-time highs that we haven't seen before. Ethereum 5,000, Cardano $4 or maybe $5. Maybe not by the end of the year, but we could definitely see this being a case if we see a resurgence of new capital coming in, if we see just the right sort of conditions transpiring. So anyways, that's kind of just a high level overview of what's been going on the last couple of days. Hopefully you didn't panic sell or anything to that sort. Hopefully you're hanging in okay with this news. And I think that's kind of where we find ourselves in. So maybe what we should do now is transition to talking a little bit about the charts and kind of hopefully getting a better perspective just from the technical analysis side of things of how things are shaping up, because with the right sort of fundamental conditions that have kind of been over the last 48 hours, I think we're set up really nicely to see things bounce, and we are. So Doc, over to you.
Did I hear right? Did you say that Ariana Grande just crashed the market?
Well, she has powers beyond singing, I suppose. Maybe she should be the next Fed chair.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's as long as she can go Bert, that's all you need, right? So yeah. Let's take a look at the charts here before I get into trouble with, we don't have any sponsors to worry about. So that's the good news here. Okay. So looking at BTC, the thing I've been talking about with our elite customers is what's going on here. So are we bouncing? Are we doing what? Or this is the deal here. And let me, I got to get my magic pen out here. So give me a second. Okay, let's see. Okay, here we go. So we have seen since mid-July, we've seen this nice rally coming up here, right? Okay, nice rally there. But for this to create a change in polarity back up to the upside, what you need is you got to have a corresponding higher low. So it's almost like the yin and yang of markets. For every move up, you've got to have a corresponding higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. This is how the structure works. It's almost like waves. What were to happen if you were to go out to the beach or the ocean and the waves just kept coming in and higher and higher and higher? Well, that's called a tsunami, right? So what you want is you want normal wave action. You want the wave to go out. You want the water to go back out again and recede, and then the next wave come in. And that's what a tide is representing here, almost the same as a trend. So if we want this to shift to a tide going to the upside, we need a higher low. And so we got into early September and I'm like, okay, this is great, but we need some kind of a higher low sitting up here. And until now, we have not had that. And that's great. So is this a crash? No, not really. If we go out here and put on the fibs, so we're going to throw a little bit of TH, you guys here. So we're going to draw these fibs and we can see that this is just a 50% fib retracement. So we've just come down to test about the 50% pullback on this entire swing. So this is entirely normal. Anytime that we see a pullback, we want to see it either find support at 38.2, 50%, or as deep as 61.8. Now, if it goes lower than that, this is the last line of defense for the bulls, is about 38,000. If it drops below there, then we're going to complete the triangle. We're going to fill in the entire triangle like that. So that gives you a line that you can follow from here on in, at least versus BTC. And as you guys all know, so goes BTC, so goes the rest of the market, at least for now. Now, we may be seeing that change down the road, but not just yet. We're also seeing with Ethereum kind of the same thing here as well, too. So beyond the top 10, we have a lot of assets that are up double digits today. A lot of the ones that are really up strong are the ones that were hurt the most during the pullback. So it's not, you can't necessarily equate and say, wow, Luna's really smoking today. Well, yeah, because it got crushed and it pulled back almost 100% of the last swing. So let's get into some of the requests that I've had from you guys. I'm going to go over here and see if I can find some of these coins. We're just going to go out to TradingView and get into, let's see, we had Ren versus the Tether. So let's bring up this one. Now, this one is coming out of forming that very popular pattern that we've seen quite a bit lately. This is a cup pattern, and the measured move of this is going to be really the depth that we have here, which is going from about 30 cents up to $1.10, which is about 80 cents. So the target for this is going to be about $1.90. So there's about $1.90 up there. Okay, so what we have to see is volume breaking out of there. So it's got a ways to go, got a little ways to go to build that up. So it may consolidate underneath $1.10 for a little while, but then what I want to see is volume breaking out above 110 or $1.10 in this case, and then it's got a chance to get up there to its measured move target. So that's a good one to look at. We got a request to see MTV versus USDT. So this is multivac. And this one is breaking out of, it's the same type of pattern. We've been seeing this quite a bit lately. This one's trying to break out of there. We've got kind of an extended handle setting up at about 18 cents versus Tether. And it's got to get moving, but the good news here is the volume is strong right now. The volume is strong and looking pretty good. So again, you can determine the measured move based on the depth of the cup for this very popular pattern to see. Another request that we got was Algorand versus the US dollar. We'll just look at Coinbase on this one. Kind of the same thing. This is pretty sloppy pattern here. It's tough to really get a good sense of where this one's going. Right now, what we've seen is increasing volume. We've seen a pretty strong pullback from this move, and I'm going to call this move coming from, this is the beginning of the swing down here, and this has gone all the way to the 61.8% retracement. So it's gone as far down as you want to see this thing go, which is about $1.55. Okay. And it's starting to get some traction today. You can see today a little bit of traction coming in there. So that looks pretty good. All right, so those were the ones that, let's see. Nathan, I just looked at Ren. If you want to rewind, I just did that one. Let's see, we had, and that's it. That's it. It seems like I've caught back up again. So let us know if there's anything else you guys want to take a look at or me to take a look at through TA, but there you go. Okay, so another request here, SBR.
Yeah, something I think is apparent is this is a good time to think about some of these alternative assets to get in, these altcoins. Even some of the big ones like Cardano. We just learned that Charles Hoskinson, who's kind of the leader and founder of Cardano, is going to be speaking in DC. Now, the way that it was reported makes it sound like he's going to be speaking to Congress, but that's not the case. However, regardless, next week he's going to be speaking about the U.S. infrastructure bill and how crypto basically needs better protections, better ability to be innovative and not fear regulation. Mad respect to him because he's actually fighting for crypto, whereas where are we seeing people like Gavin Wood or Vitalik or people like that? This is a critical time in crypto's evolution and its ability to get out there and be part of the world. So we need people who are not only visionaries, but fighting for the crypto space to get the proper regulations in place. So mad respect to Charles, and hopefully we can see something positive come out of that. Anyways, let's let's dig back into some of these coins, and then we'll do that for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then get off the air here because there's a crazy market and we should be paying attention to that.
Okay, so I got a few queued up here. Here we go. Let's go over to the charts. Okay, so SBR. Let's take a look at that. I don't know if this is the one that you're looking at for the person asking for SBR USDT. I don't seem to see it. And this is probably not Save Britney. SBR. Okay, so I don't have access to that one through, I'm just assuming that Save Britney is probably not what you want to see. So let's go over to IOTA versus Tether. All right, and I'm just looking at this through price and volume. We can look at this through the RSI Laguerre. We can look at this through, mean reversion. We can look at this through, volume profile and do all this kind of stuff, but we don't really need that stuff. I think just looking at things through price and volume is really all we need to do right now. Okay, so IOTA is transitioning back into a weekly uptrend. So this is higher highs, higher lows. If we throw this on a weekly chart, this is starting to move. It's a really sloppy chart. I mean, this to me, what it looks like is it's building into a big triangle like this, just kind of vectoring into here and eventually may pop out to the upside. This one might be sloppy for a while. That's what IOTA looks like to me right now. Okay, what is next? Chainlink. The Marines check in. All right. And my gosh, it's got almost exactly the same pattern as IOTA. Look at that. Just about the same thing. So this has got a little bit of a problem here. There's a lower high set up and there's a higher low. So my comments are almost exactly the same on this one. It looks like it's just building and coiling up to a larger pattern here. So that's Chainlink. If you're dying to get into it, here's a nice pullback for you. It looks like a daily uptrend on this. It still looks like a daily uptrend, but still pretty sloppy chart right now. Okay, KLV. I'm not familiar with this one. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can find it. Clever Tether. Ooh, and Clever is not looking too good. If you look at this on a weekly chart, this is just the wings have broken off at the root. This thing's auguring into the ground at terminal velocity. So this is not looking all that great. Clever would, never Clever here. So what I do is before you invest in this thing, instead of just trying to buy the dip, and the fact that you probably asked for this coin because you invested in it back here and are wondering what to do with this, you can continue to dollar cost average, but there is a saying from, and I can't remember the guy's name. He's a big fund manager in Boston, and don't take this personally, and this is not meant or directed at you, but the statement was losers average down. So guys, always remember that losers average down. Again, this is not directed at you or anything like that, but keep that in your mind. If you're tempted to average down on an asset, don't do it, right? Wait till something turns back around to the upside. Okay, so that is clever, Trevor there. Let's go over to MOVR. MOVR. God, I'm going to remember that guy's name. Might have been the guy that bought the, it might have been John Henry that bought the Red Sox. Okay, so this one's not been around for all that long, just a few weeks. You know, if we look at a weekly chart, there's just a few weeks here. So this is in a primary uptrend, and this is a nice pullback. You know, we can, you know, there's not really even worth putting energy analysis on here because there's just so few candles, but nice pullback. This is good for fib analysis. You can do that. So if we draw from the bottom up to the top here, it's found support at the 61.8. If it starts to break above these candles here at 352, wow, this is not a cheap coin. So that would be the breakout entry is about 350 on this guy. And then let's go to Solana, which has been our rock star for quite some time now. And I've got the fibs on this dude. Looking at the entire move that we've had, let's, I'm going to remove that. And I want to draw the fibs from a different spot here, which is this latest swing. Let's try that one more time with meaning. Okay, so we're going to bring up Solana from bottom to top. You can see how the price found the 61.8% fib and has exploded higher from there. Now, what you can do with this, right now, this is a daily downtrend. What you can do is you can go down to something like the hourly chart, and you can look for the hourly chart to start to reverse the trend. And it started that. Can you see this, how we have lower highs and lower lows, and this has actually gone above that recent lower high. So it's printed a higher high. You can wait for the next higher low to set up and then confirm the uptrend, or you can look for a deeper pullback. So something else that I've talked about with our elite customers is that this guy, if you really want a value entry, you can put an entry down here at about 100 or about 80. And those are about the lowest you're going to find an entry on Solana. Okay. Okay, I'm going to look back on the list here and see how we're doing. Let's just take a couple more. Okay, there's Solana. Somebody wants Mina protocol. See
yeah, Mina was one of the ones we talked about on our stream August 18th, and has since about doubled from that time. And I have not been able to find any information about Mina's VC's dumping or the founders dumping, as Nathan is bringing up. But that is definitely something to bear in mind. However, today it is, it's on a tear.
Yeah, here's Mina protocol. So it's got a primary uptrend going. It's got, you know, some weekly candles heading higher. This is a nice pullback on this one. Not a whole lot of price action to really judge this one by yet. Let's see, Derace. D-E-R-A-C. Okay, so this is Derace token. And this one again looks pretty good. We have, you know, a nice trend here, higher highs and higher lows. It's pulling back right now. You can draw the fibs on this particular pullback. You know, whatever entry method that you want to use, whether it's something like, you know, this is what I like about the RSI Laguerre is that it's going to give you, in this case, an entry signal. So whether it's a hook down here on something like that, that's a good entry signal. If this one continues to pull back, then this line will continue to pull back, and this will give you a hook signal to the upside. This is why I like the RSI Laguerre for that reason. So it's just a nice, easy thing to do. Okay, auction versus USDT. And then we'll probably wrap it up here after a couple more. Auction USDT. Let's see, what do we got? We got a real sloppy chart here. This is this has absolutely zero pattern. This is completely random price. There's nothing to this one at all. So what I would look for is when you see price moving into a linear trend, that means it's being followed by a lot more people. Look at the volume on this one. It's just completely random. It's just all over the place, right? So the market's confused about this one and the value. Where you compare that to something like, a Solana or something like that, it's very clear because you have very linear, very clear demarcations in terms of the trend. You have a choice in terms of what to invest in this market. And I would invest in linear assets that are heading higher. Buckhorn, thank you. Paul Tudor Jones, that's the name I was looking for. Thank you very much.
We'll say we talked about auction back in April, and it is about doubled since then as well. So, it is climbed about 150 market cap rank since then. So definitely, it is still an interesting one because it is dealing with NFTs, and it's there's a lot to like about it, even if the charts are a little bit sloppy, to Doc's point. And yeah, we just talked about Avalanche or AVAX last week, and their upcoming Apricot upgrades scheduled for September 30th or just before that. So that is definitely one we're watching as well.
Okay, here's since I screwed this one up last week, this is QNT. You guys were looking for quant, and this one looks pretty good. It's following this nice trend line here. The price has come almost down, and we actually do have a hook right now for a buy signal at about 260 on QNT versus the US dollar. Let's see if there's any AVAX. Let's see if I can find AVAX here. Let's see, versus US dollar. Oh, that's a nice looking chart. I mean, look at this one here. So we didn't look at this one before, did we? So this is kind of an extended base, the same kind of thing with the handle. It's breaking out above this. Look at the volume on the breakout. Everything a father could ask for, right? This is what you want. You want volume on the breakout. It's going above the neckline of this at about 56. It's looking pretty good. Okay, we already did Solana, and the last one I'll do here is OMG. Omizigo. You got to say it right. You got to say it like a Japanese, right? Omizigo. Okay. Boy, I used to love this one. This was like such an awesome chart, like once upon a time. Omizigo. Look at it go, and it's just been utter crap. But if we look at this from a weekly perspective, this is starting to take on a little bit more of a rounded base. And I'd like to see it, I really like to see this trend above 12 and start to get some more strength. You can see the volume has been coming in, at least on Coinbase. So that's good news. So I'm sure it was just listed back here in 20. So I want to see this one break above 12 and show some strength, but Omizigo is looking better. All right, guys. And that's a wrap, I think. I do believe that's a wrap. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Mav, you got any final words of sage advice for the folks out there?
Hang in there. It's going to be okay. Large part, the downturn was overblown, and I think we are well positioned to find ourselves with a nice discount on some hopefully very hot coins coming up for the next couple months. So always do your research and trade dispassionately. But I think we're in a good spot for the rest of the year. So it should be interesting. And take it easy, guys. But as always, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And don't forget to join some of our free communities down in the bio below. We have a ReadySet Vision, which has just been on fire recently, which talks about on-chain analysis, talks about kind of a big macro view of the markets. You have ReadySet Trade, and that is more about stocks and options, and Doc teaching you how to effectively trade. And we also have ReadySetCrypto, which is, obviously the big part of this channel. But as well as that, we have a free Discord associated with that. So all these things are free to join, and I encourage you to get on there to become a better trader, a better investor, and better educated about this space, especially as we're heading into some of the most opportune time of the year. So get ready to have some fun, hopefully. But until then, as always, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for being a subscriber and a member of this community. And yeah, take it easy, guys. We'll see you next week, same time. But until then, take care.
Adios, amigos. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you guys next week.
Cheers, guys. Bye.